All right, shalom, shalom. For the real Hebrew Israelites coming day in and day out to prophesy the downfall of Babylon the Great, which is America. First off and foremost, all praises, honor, and glory be unto Yahweh, by Hashem, Yahweh Shai, by Hashem, Kakadash. Double honors to thee, all the apostles of great milestone, salutations to the elect wherever you may be. Brother Shapaya from GMS Chicago coming at you again with another quick lesson. 1 Timothy chapter 4. Now the Spirit speaketh expressly that in the latter times some should depart from the faith, giving heed to seducing spirits and doctrines of devils, speaking lies and hypocrisy, having their conscience seared with a hot iron. All right, so according to prophecy, you're gonna have niggas that fall off from the truth. Right, like it says, a child left unto himself. All right, it says a fool's mind is like a cartwheel. All right, so this guy is going to be constantly going into different doctrines and diving into things that's contrary to the scriptures. And it says having this conscience seared with the hot iron. So just like we're persuaded in righteousness, they're persuaded in wickedness. And these are certain examples of some of the doctrines they were teaching back then. Forbidding to marry and commanding to abstain from meats, which Yahweh have created to be received with thanksgiving of them which believe and know the truth. For every creature of Yahweh is good, and nothing shall be refused. Now, don't take that the wrong way. Food is food, all right, which is clean animals. But unclean animals are not considered food. So you would have Christians that would say, oh, well, the Lord blessed all meats or all animals. All right, it says refuse nothing, but without the proper doctrinal understanding, they're just going to butcher the scriptures. Right? If it be received with thanksgiving, for it is sanctified by the word of Yahweh in prayer, which, like I said, going into what I was just talking about, food is considered clean animals, not unclean. Verse 6, if thou put the brethren in remembrance of these things, thou shalt be a good minister of Yahweh Shai Mashiach, nourished up in the words of faith and of good doctrine whereunto thou hast obtained. Now listen, it says nourished up. So let's get that word nourish. 1 Timothy 4. Enthreptful, nourished in a person or thing, to educate, form the mind. All right, so you got to be built up. All right, apt to teach. All right, prepared to teach. All right, even going back to the word education. All right, trained. All right, which we're trained by the elders through the spirit and power of Yahweh Shem Shai. And once we get to a certain level, we will be supping with the spirit itself. All right. Nourished up in the words of faith and of good doctrine whereunto thou hast attained, but refuse profane and old wives' fables, and exercise thyself rather unto godliness. So if you hear a fucking wayward doctrine, hey, cut it and keep on going. Don't be wooed by it. For bodily exercise profited little, but godliness is profitable unto all things, having promise of life that is now and of that which is to come. This is a faithful saying and worthy of acceptation. For therefore we labor and suffer reproach, because we trust in the living power, who is the Savior of all men. Once again, that all men, according to Acts the 5th chapter, and Acts the 1st chapter, are men of Israel, especially of those that believe. These things command and teach. So the scriptures tell you what to teach. These are commandments. All right? I don't care if it's in the New Testament, the Old Testament, or even if it was how Paul felt. All right? It's still a commandment, man, because it's to better you. It's for your profit. Let no man despise thy youth, but be thou example of the believers. So yeah, even in the young men, listen, you got old fools out there, man. All right? Oh, I'm wise, I'm this. Don't let no man despise thy youth. What did the Lord tell Jeremiah? Thou hast known the scriptures since thou was a child. All right? It says, but be thou an example of the believers in word, in conversation, in charity, in spirit, in faith, in purity. So it's the way you conduct yourself. You have to keep yourself holy and spiritual. Till I come, give attendance to, this is a commandment as well, to reading, to exhortation, right? And what's exhortation? Being built up, all right? Same thing with the being nourished up, right? To doctrine, neglect not the gift that is in thee, which was given thee by prophecy with the laying on of the hands of the presbytery, which is the order or the body of the elders, okay? That's how you get this thing, all right? Just like, was that Acts, the 8th chapter, with the eunuch from Ethiopia and Philip. All right, verse 15, meditate upon these things, give thyself wholly unto them, that thy profiting may appear to all, like I was just going into. These things, these commandments are for your profit. Take heed unto thyself and unto the doctrine, not doctrines, plural, but doctrine, as in singular. Continue in them, for in doing this thou shalt both save thyself and them that hear thee. Shalom.